Can you help us compute? A lot of NBA fans can help us compute.
I think
here?
This is a reputation suspension. And I was some guy who had a reputation, and I remember where I would push someone and get a 2-game suspension. I'm like, I pushed them, and they're like, well, you have a bad reputation. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's how that kind of works. So, obviously I was there. I was calling the game that night. First and foremost, I think it's no mystery. Sabonis shouldn't have grabbed his foot.
Right.
How you react when someone grabs your foot, only you know in that moment. I don't know if there's anything else he could have did. He chose to do what he did, and I knew that would obviously raise a lot of eyebrows because it's him. And then I think maybe some of the antics while they were looking at the tape and him running over and clapping and getting into it with the crowd. And if I'm understanding too, Mr. Silver was in the crowd that night too. So I think the flagrant 2 should have been enough. I don't think he should have been suspended for this game. But again, I think this is a reputation suspension.
Well, I mean, my thought again is, as you just pointed out too, Matt, is you never know what you're going to do until your ankle is grabbed.
Right.
And so, but to me, Draymond's been around enough to know. As a matter of fact, just if I'm not mistaken, 2 possessions before he got a reputational foul called on him that Kerr challenged and got overturned.
Yeah.
And so he knows that that kind of should have put him on notice. And if he had played the victim in the moment, right? And I know victim is it's an infused word, but if he had just went down like a ton of bricks because Sabonis had grabbed him, Sabonis would have gotten the flagrant.
Yeah.
The Warriors would have kept the possession they had just earned in a 1-possession game. Instead, he stomped on him.
And my thing, I mean, obviously Draymond is a friend of mine, a brother of mine, and
so help us help
it's
us
hard.
out here.
It's kind of hard to navigate this from a standpoint of, again, he's great at kind of mucking stuff up. You know what I mean? And that doesn't take away from his talent, but he's just always been able to live on that edge and sometimes cross it. And that's been his biggest gift. And to me, sometimes his biggest curse, because he is so instrumental to that team. And it's not always the numbers that are going to jump off the page to you. I mean, I think he had 11 assists in game 1, which is huge for a center or a power forward, but it's the little things he does and the glue guy and be able to switch on anybody and keep him in front. And, obviously it could have possibly been a different outcome if he didn't get kicked out of that game, So in the moment, we want to look at the big picture, like, come on, Draymond, you should have known better. But in the moment, in a rowdy environment, his emotions got the best of him. And again, it's unfortunate. And I think it should have only been for that game.
Yes.
The NBA chose otherwise, and now they're at a huge disadvantage going home 0-2 without him.
So then, again, one last attempt at having you speak for another human being who you care about. And I'm flat out going to, start this question with that admission. Do you think there's part of him that is regretting that he's not going to play in this game?
1,000%. 1,000%. Because he knows how important he is to the team, and he knows how important this game is. I mean, look, the Kings had a great season this year, but everyone wanted to know if it was real. Everyone okay, we want to play that 3 seed. Everyone was talking about we want to play them.
Yes.
And now, the Warriors are in a series with a team that doesn't have very much experience, but is hungry. You know what I mean? I'm calling all their games, and game 2 to me, the Kings came out like they were the team that lost game 1.
Yes.
They were faster to the punch. They were more aggressive. They were getting downhill. They were playing harder. And then again, obviously the Warriors have a ton of experience. So this series is far from over. If Golden State handles business at home, Sacramento just has to win at home to finish the series out. So it's going to be really interesting, but you never want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to be at a disadvantage. And it doesn't have to do with injury. No, you're at a disadvantage now because you made a bad decision. So that's definitely going to hurt their team. But, again, Golden State has a ton of championship experience and pedigree. They've been down in the past, and we're going to have to see what this team is about.
So knowing them as well as you do and calling the games, what are they thinking right now, do you think?
I think they need to find a way to get Jordan Poole playing better. He's a liability out there. He scored
defensively, 7. Is he a liability?
I think every time on the defensive end, Sacramento sets enough screens that he's guarding the person with the ball. So that's first and foremost. But then I just think 2 shot selection sometimes and then being really too loose with the ball. Mm-hmm. I think the Warriors' turnovers are kind of their Achilles heel, and they have been the entire season. And you'll accept it from Steph because Steph is Steph. But you can't have Jordan Poole coming out there and just throwing the ball around the court, understanding the importance of every single possession. He got a huge contract, and a lot of responsibility comes with that. He had 17 in the first game, but only 4 in the second game. And they need him to step up and be that 20-point. And he doesn't have to play above what he's been doing. He just has to play what he's been doing. I think he needs to be in that 18 to 22 range, for them to have a chance, because Sacramento is hungry and they see blood in the water, and they want to prove everyone wrong, because everyone thought, they were the 3 seed, but they were the underdogs coming into this series.
Right.
So, they got a little chip on their shoulder.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.